I'm Katy Kappel, and I am here at the Zion Resurrection Garden, which is a relatively new garden. In the fall of 2018, we decided to upgrade the grounds here, and I told the garden club we needed to have native plants. This was a wasteland. The Pollinator Garden Assistance and Recognition Program came in, Pam Leinhardt and Richard Coleman, and they did a plot plan of the entire area, and we decided to start here with the entry up there. And then this particular area right in here is a monarch garden. In 2019 we applied for a Bring Back the Monarchs grant from the Native Plant Society, and we received that. So a lot of plants have gone in here, although this particular part was just seeds that were thrown. And what we also ended up doing was educating a lot of people about native plants, because the church group hadn't really thought about it at all. And as I said, in November when we started, and February when PGARP came, this was just a wasteland. This was a thicket, and stuff died. So now we have learned a lot. This is the third summer, and what we're growing now is different from what happened last year because of the freeze, and we're learning how to deal with the things that froze. So we have had a good growth of milkweed this year, and the monarch butterflies have come through, and we are about to have a new crop of other things. This is a not fenced area, so we have had to learn what the deer won't eat either, and it's been surprising, but it's been helpful to me in my home garden to learn about this kind of thing. We get together one Monday a month, which is really not enough, and the part-time gardener here does some work, because we've had, probably like everywhere, a bumper crop of grass and weeds that we don't want. I don't consider much of anything a weed unless it has a big sticker on it. And that has to go. So we are still working on more plants that will screen us from the business next door. And we've had some real surprises. These pink things over here are obedient plants that someone gave me when they had no flowers on them. The ones that don't have a cage have disappeared, and the ones that are caged have beautiful flowers on them. And this is a thing that we have out in front of the Riverside Nature Center, but it has no flowers. And I'm thinking maybe that's what the deer like, is the flowers. So I guess what I've learned from this is people are ready to hear about native plants and about maybe not working so hard at their garden with insecticides and fertilizers. We have had to water for the first year, really. This year I found if it rains, wouldn't it be wonderful? It would keep on raining once a week. But we do have some sprinklers put up now, so that when it's 95 day after day and no rain, we can water. And the new little trees that I planted last fall pretty much made it through the freeze. Some of them are now a lot shorter than they used to be, but I guess that's nature. And what we're hoping is that in time this will be a self-sufficient garden, that we won't need to water, that the wildflowers will come back year after year.
Would you like to walk around and show us the highlights of the garden?
Yes, let's do that. Okay. We have several lantanas that we planted that are thriving. These blue mist flowers, as you can see, have also expanded their range, and the butterflies love them. I planted a few Corona de Cristo passion vines, and they have gone everywhere, but they are also being eaten by Gulf fritillary butterflies. And looks like we have some people growing up there on that. That is a pearl milkweed vine seed pod. So the pollinators are getting into stuff here. I have seen
Are those aphids?
monarch caterpillars on there.
Are those aphids?
I don't think so. I've never seen red aphids, but to take a picture of them and send it to iNaturalist and see what they say.
iNaturalist is great.
But see, all this
There's
is milkweed vine down here.
Yep. There's a Gulf fritillary.
This is Maximilian sunflower, which should bloom soon. I dug up some of the blue mist flowers from over there, and they're doing fine here. And then we have some trees that we purchased on the different tree sales that hopefully one day will be shaded and screening from the place next door. I discovered that the deer like to eat big red sage, so that one has a cage. These were baby desert willows somebody donated, and they've gone really well. We took the cage away. Although last fall the male deer were sharpening their antlers on them, and we had to put the cage back up for a while. This is a lost maple, which my pastor, who's from Iowa, requested that could we possibly get a maple tree that would turn color in the fall. So,
Are those available for purchase at Lost Maples?
actually, they're available for purchase here.
Are they?
Yeah, it's the only maple that really grows well here. It's a big tooth maple, and it's doing pretty well.
It's doing very well.
Last year in May, this entire area was covered with these daisies. These are cowpen daisies.
Yeah, I got them all
collected
over.
seeds, they spewed seeds, and they're starting to come back now. But this year, we had a lot of bee balm, and we had a lot of these Mexican hats, which we're starting to pull out to make room for the next whatever is coming. And we've had a lot of those little purple guys, which the name escapes me right this minute.
Prairie verbena.
Yeah. So then, this has been the limits of the monarch garden right here. But we have also been working down here with different trees that PGARP suggested that we put in.
How often do you come out here to tend the garden?
Probably every week. I haven't had a regular day because most of my garden club can only do it on the weekend, but I would like to set up a regular day just to clean up and pull up things. And we have a few places where we have to fight the Bermuda, and then there's always the trash because we're on Sidney Baker and the wind blows this way. I had a couple of other things I wanted to show you. These are 2 years old. This is an anaconcho orchid tree which was covered with little orchids this spring.
And you have everything labeled.
I'm sorry?
You have everything labeled.
Not everything. Teresa Coleman has been a big help with the labeling, but I've gotten ahead of her and now I need to catalog everything. These were tall. These were 8 feet tall, and the freeze took them to the ground. So this is what they've done this year to come back. Evergreen sumac. I'm thinking about taking the cage off because clearly the deer are not eating them. So we have lots of sinisos that are volunteers. If anybody wants sinisos, I would dig them up and give them to them.
Do you find the members of the church coming out to look at the garden occasionally?
Yes. Yes, this is the main entrance, and they come in here to park. That was why we started with the front. But we have mostly things now that have been there for almost 3 years, and right now I have a soaker hose on them.
Look at all the bees.
This is not native, but the butterflies and the bees and the hummingbirds love it. This is an abelia. This was something they planted around here in the 50s. And until I get something else that big, I'm not going to tear it down. Over there was a 9-foot-tall retama or Palo Verde tree, and it's now trying to come up as a bush, and I just finished cutting off a lot of limbs because I want it to be a tree. The sharp, the feathery sharp one there. It has beautiful yellow flowers when it flowers. And this big bushy thing is a, I just went blank on it, box elder. It's a trash tree. I keep ripping it down. It keeps coming back. It's determined. These are all over Kerrville.
Yeah.
And here's some more. This was where I first put the Corona de Cristos, but the butterflies have been laying their babies. And that's okay with me. I don't see any right now. There's one. Beautiful butterflies.
They do.
This is an esperanza, and in my yard the deer don't eat them, but for some reason here the deer were eating them.
They eat mine down to the bone.
They do?
Yeah. I love it.
Guess you just have to figure out what you're going to do.
Nice rosemary.
And it's too loud to talk, but I want to show you what we did at the very front. Let me go out this way. We collected and laid all of this rock along this bank. Somebody's ranch had nothing but rock on it, so a few of us went out there and loaded it up.
That's good.
And these are pine muleys, which have spread. I especially like a plant that will spread.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a very busy street.
But then we've got this other grass that we don't like, so you have to take it a little bit at a time. And then we asked the rest of the members of the church to kick in money to buy plants, and that worked well. So we were able to put in some pretty substantial plants instead of relying on seeds all the time.
So you need volunteers from the Hill Country chapter to come out and help you.
I would love to have some more people, and I need to point out that I really did not know much of anything about this when I started. But I think after you try to grow something and you see what it does, and we've just mixed in together a bunch of different envelopes of seeds and thrown them out here, and so then you can see what'll come up, you know. So it's just, you have to just keep working at it and see what happens, see what works.
So ideally, how many people would you like to have come out on a weekly basis?
Maybe 2 or 3. Really, that would be plenty.
So tell us where Lutheran Church is located.
Okay, Zion Lutheran the address is 824 Barnett, which is crosses Sidney Baker. Right across from Chicken Express. And now we're looking at a new Dunkin' Donuts right across the street here. So I try to come at 7:30 in the summer. I mean, I am not into working in the heat. So I would, if we had some more volunteers, I would definitely work with them on what kind of a schedule they'd like to have. Because I usually check on it 2 or 3 times a week. I don't always get in there and start pulling things. And we do have a part-time garden guy who will come in and do the big mowing and trimming of the weeds, so that's helpful.
So, do you have any plans for expanding the garden, or is it pretty much established?
Well, we have a whole lot more area that we could expand to, and I put those new trees down there at the far end. And what I've noticed is some of these wildflowers are showing up down there. So maybe it'll expand on its own. That would be nice. It would really depend on manpower. There is an area down there where I'd like to make a pathway. The businesses next door park here and jump the fence to get to their business, and the manager of Pit Stop said, well, when you have a heavy job you need done, let me know and I'll come and help. So I'm thinking we might build a path over there. And a lot of our rosemary died in the freeze, so we'll probably replace some. I've replaced some of the things that got killed in the freeze. But Jim Stanley says wait and see what happens for a year, so.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, it's been a very, very rewarding thing for me because it's just an adventure. And we have had some monarchs, so that was a good thing. We were supposed to put up a sign explaining the monarchs, and I don't know what happened with that. But I'm planning to do a little workshop in the evening for the church members, just to tell them what's out here and what they might want to try in their own yard, the ones that haven't volunteered, you know. So.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Katie.
Oh, the only thing I can say is if you have involved with some group that could use a better landscape, don't be afraid to talk about the fact that you have some resources.
We do?
You know.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you.